When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com. Ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you.
Hey everybody, Francis Beck here for Western New York Athletics. Welcome into the Western New York Immediate Care Postgame Show. Class B State Semifinals. It's Main-Endwell of Section 4 defeating Section 6's Maritime Health Sciences 41-8 as the Spartans advance on to the Carrier Dome next weekend and the Falcons season comes to an end. I'm joined by Tim Chifa, Joe Daniel here on our post-game show. And the second half was pretty much what the first half was. We kind of talked about it at the halftime. This Main-Endwell team was much faster than I think a lot of people expected, and it caught the Falcons off guard.
Yeah, I mean, they're a very good team. They really are. They're well coached. They're disciplined. Very few penalties. They just didn't do barely anything wrong. I think they had 2 fumbles. I think, but outside of that, it was a near perfect game. They got beat for the one long deep pass for a touchdown, but I mean, Maritime just really had no answers defensively. And Western New York Maritime Health Science, they were fantastic defensive all season. Just kind of ran into a buzzsaw tonight.
They did. A long day, truly, for Western New York Maritime Health Sciences. They got beat by the better team today. And just really had no issues when they wanted to run the ball. I mean, they got stopped on 2 drives, but other than that, I mean, Cini, just incredible through the air. 3 touchdown passes. He did a kickoff return. He ran for a couple, just elite speed. They couldn't stop Mancini today, and that's what ultimately was their downfall, losing 41-8.
Yeah, and it's not like with 3 touchdown passes, it's not like he threw the ball 25, 30 times either.
Yeah.
He only probably threw it 10 to 15 times at the most. I don't have the stats in front of me, but just very, very they picked their spots perfectly. They ran an offense like we talked about during halftime. The wing formation offense where there's some misdirections going all over the place, and then they just catch you off guard and they throw it right over the top of you. And that kid's a special player. I mean, he's all over the place defensively. You have the kick return to start the second half. So you know what? It's just, I think Stu mentioned it there in the broadcast. It just wasn't their day today. Yeah. It was just anything that kind of could go wrong went wrong for him.
We talk about it, just the big playability, just quick strikes, right? Not long touchdown drives. Mancini, a couple of his touchdown runs, those were early in the drives. I mean, and their interceptions they had on Webster, who's not used to throwing the ball as much, those were returned 30, 40 yards for setting up great field position.
Yeah.
It felt like, especially early on, every 3 or 4, if you were running 4 plays, Maritime would win about 3 of them, but the 4th play, the Spartans would just go 70 yards, 20 yards and score for a touchdown. It just felt like they couldn't contain them. I think that was the big thing. And I think, we talked about it, especially last week during the Far West Regionals. There were teams that were used to blowing people out, and then they get in a tight game, and you could tell they weren't used to that moment. And I think Maritime really hasn't, they haven't been in a close game till week 1. That's a long way. That was a long time ago. And you can tell that, they weren't comfortable being down. You could see at the end of the half, they had trouble with that 2-minute offense. And when they were forced to throw, you could tell they just weren't comfortable doing it. Webster just was not used to doing that, not natural at it. And I think that's why things just went really downhill. End of that second half, end of that first half, into the second.
Yeah, well, he's also a sophomore too, so he's going to get better, as he gets, as the game kind of slows down for him a bit. 4 interceptions today, but asked to throw a lot more than their normal offense. Being down 21-0, in the first half, you have to come you got to change your offense, obviously, and you can't when you are a 90% run the ball offense. You can't go down 3 scores because everything gets changed up, and he was forced to try to force some things basically.
Yeah, the timing. Those were timing interceptions. They look bad because the quarterback's throwing it, but it's the quarterback and receiver being on the same page, and they weren't on just about every interception, which makes it look worse to the quarterback. But that's something they have to realize at some point they're going to have to throw the ball better. They got to work on that. And if they come back stronger in that next year, they'll be better off for it.
But Main-Endwell's defensive secondary was fantastic.
They were,
also.
and all the credit for them. But it's something they need to work on.
They had their athletes in the defensive backfield, where Mancini was and the other kid that had interceptions. So they're a tough team to throw and run on, because obviously they couldn't run the ball. They tried that in the beginning of the game, couldn't get anything going there, so they had to try to throw. They ran into a really good team.
A team that doesn't lose.
Yeah,
we have to understand that. I mean, we're up. We want Western New York Maritime Health Science to win. I mean, they played a team that just doesn't lose, and they over a course of 100 games, 15 losses. I mean, this is nothing for them. You think about Mancini with how great he was today. You think he had any pressure in his mind, like stress level? Like I played in the League World Series championship game. I played in front of millions of fans. I played an international team that was skilled and stuff, and I beat them. This was nothing for him today, and he showed it on the field.
You could tell, Francis, that they expected to be there. You talked about before when we first got here, Francis, that I believe you said South Park ended a streak for against this team. Correct?
Yeah, it was that 2015 South Park team that won a state title. Remember, that was back with Tyree Brown at quarterback.
Yeah. So that being said, this team, they expect to be there the very first day of practice. They expect to be going where they're going next week.
Yeah. Real quick, do you want to mention we have an update, or this is a couple hours ago? Iona Prep defeated St. Francis. I know Joe's not happy right now.
I said I'll go on a rant. Not a bad rant. Not a bad rant. I'm happy for St. Francis. You know what? Because I went to St. Francis, I'll take this. St. Francis fell up short today. As alumni, I'm disappointed just for the students and stuff. Outstanding season. You beat Canisius twice. I mean, that was the ultimate goal. You lost to a really good team in states. In 1 year, they will win. But what a great opportunity for those kids to go play for a state championship. Heck of a season for St. Francis as a graduate. I'm proud of you. I'm disappointed you lost. But there's always next year. What's that?
They have a lot of players coming back.
Yeah, there are a lot of players. I mean, they were down 17-3 at half. They played them much harder in the second half, I should say. And I've seen St. Francis, not play as well in a state championship before. Today was a really good effort.
Yeah, so 22 final, Iona Prep over St. Francis. And then again, it's Main-Endwell defeating Western New York Maritime Health Sciences 41-8 in the Class B semifinal, ending the Falcons' run. So we only have one team alive in Section 6, really all of Western New York. And that game is next. It's going to be Bennett against Cicero North Syracuse. So we'll have pregame coverage, maybe in about 10-15 minutes of that one. But for Tim Chiefa, Joe Daniel, I'm Francis Beck. Thank you for tuning in to the Western New York Immediate Care postgame show. We'll be back in a little bit with pregame coverage of the Class AA state semifinal.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
I love being home.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you. Western New York Immediate Care provides quick, quality care for non-emergent injuries and illnesses. Go to WNYimmediatecare.com for more information.